The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, has advised motorists to stop panic buying of premium motor spirit, PMS, or petrol, okay, saying they have no plan to increase the ex-depot price in March. According to them, contrary to speculations of imminent increase in the price of petrol in the country, NNPC has ruled out any increment in the price of petrol for this month of March. Now, regardless of this warning or assurance by the NNPC, however you want to look at it, Nigerians were at the weekend thrown into confusion as fuel scarcity hit some parts of Lagos, Abuja, and many other cities across the country. According to a newspaper report who actually went out to monitor the situation, they observed that residents besieged fuel stations in Nigeria's commercial nerve center of Lagos in anticipation of yet another season of fuel scarcity. The situation was not different in Abuja, as motorists were seen scrambling to fill their tanks amid long queues formed across the city. Now, the anxiety over scarcity of petrol is coming in the wake of the assurance given by the NNPC that there will be no increase in the pump price of petrol in March, I beg your pardon. All right, now, according to this newspaper report, if you go further into the report, some filling stations in Lagos shut their doors and refused to sell petrol, and that gave some Lagosians the impression, you know, that there might be a fuel scarcity anytime soon. And of course, you know how Lagosians get when this issue of fuel scarcity is what we're dealing with.
Well, question is, you know, the thing is, each time NNPC wants to address this issue of, they say Nigerians should abhor panic buying and all of that. But it's not with the people, it's not with the buying public. It's with the supply. When the filling stations decide to shut their doors, hoping that the price will go up. They're not shutting their doors because they don't have. They're shutting their doors because they probably bought at, you know, the price they have now. They believe that if they continue selling and the price goes up, they will lose. So it's all about the profit they want to make. And is it not embarrassing that NNPC that has continued to drain the commonwealth of this country with its non-functional refineries are still the only sole importer? So what is the deregulation about? I was thinking that when government says that they're regulating a system, it gives room for people to compete. Let other people be able to buy, and let the forces of demand and supply determine the price. But here you have NNPC that will not, the refineries are not working, and every year they're incurring billions of losses for moribund system. And yet they're the sole importer of petrol. It shows what we call total failure in governance.
Yeah, let me start with lack of transparency in oil sector. Oil sector is one of the sectors you can talk about when you talk about corruption. It's much endemic there. And in fact, we've talked here before about the composition of an NPC. We've talked about the management. And I was just asking myself, if I have a company and I have chief executives that are running aground to that company, what do I need to do? People have said many times that an NNPC needs to be restructured and the competent people need to be there. And of course, those moribund refineries that are not working, instead of spending money, let's concession them so that people can, you know, take advantage of it and then do something about it. But today, almost 60% of our foreign earning goes to the importation of a refined product. And of course, you know, before now, importers are giving concessionary rates in forest exchange. But today, I think the government has removed that. Yeah. So it's now survival of the fittest. It's now the biggest company, oil company that can be able to import. So there's a little bit of scarcity in foreign exchange in order to import the refined oil. You know why people are buying? One of the basic things that people are buying is because people don't trust the government again. The trustworthy is gone. The same government that told us when they entered that they will not increase the price of petroleum from 85, they jump it to 145 naira. And now we are having 165 plus.
175.
Or 175. Some areas is 180, some areas is 200. So there's no trust. When government say this is money, you have to look at your time to know whether it really is money. And that is the worst thing that can happen to any government. Any government that is not trustworthy, that means there's no principle. And then I would take it back to us too, citizens. Patriotism is not there. Everybody is all about money. People can kill because of money. Let me give you an instance. Recently, some modulars, refinery modulars were approved. Some of them, as we had, started operation. What are the refined products that are coming from those modular refineries? And you know what happened? I am just saying on my own, based on the kind of Nigerians we have. These modular refineries or refined product could be taken to this high sea and brought back
as important.
That is the problem, because the dollar has to go. So everywhere you look at, there's no patriotism, there's no national. Everybody is just like a scavenger. We are just scavenging everything. You just scavenge and get out. If you have modular, by now they should have been able to augment what we have. But you discover that the importation of fuel is still as high as it was before.
And yes, the importation of fuel is still as high as it used to be.
Yeah.
But the NNPC is telling us, stop panic buying of petrol. There's no scarcity of petrol. That's what the NNPC says. So to those filling stations or petrol stations who are hoarding, because I don't know why you would not want to sell fuel, where is the PPPRA? Is that what they're called? PPPRA. I don't know what the regulatory body.
It won't work. Remember, the downstream sector has been deregulated. When is the government has no right to fix price again.
But the government is the sole importer.
Because they want to be imported. Because I know that
we have to go, gentlemen.
Some big companies are importing too.
This issue of deregulation is a never-ending issue, but it is well. Thank you, Dr. Sonny Maduka.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prince Chilaka. Thank you to all our viewers today for your wonderful contributions.